In this video I'm going to show you how I make my own cement for stained glass windows. It's called cement. It has nothing to do with cement. It's more likened to putty in that you put it between the glass and the lead and it makes the window waterproof. It sets while staying a little bit flexible in the way putty does, so that as the glass expands and contracts with the weather, the glass doesn't crack. It can still move because the putty is still flexible. So the ingredients you're going to need are plaster of Paris, which is also called fine casting powder. And then you need whiting, which I buy in a sack like this. What do they call it? Quality calcium carbonate. It's basically chalk dust. And then you need boiled linseed oil and white spirit. And then pigment. I get this at Corneliusson, which is up in Holborn, and there are different shades of black you can buy, some more expensive and some cheaper, but actually you won't save any money buying the cheaper one because you'll just need more. It's to do with the intensity of the pigment. It's really dirty, so I proper cover up when I do this job, and something to mix. So the recipe, sorry I spilt some linseed oil on it last time, is 6 of whiting to 2 of plaster to 1.5 of white spirit and 1.5 of linseed oil. So the same amount of linseed oil and white spirit, but more whiting than plaster. If you're doing an internal window where it's not going to be subject to as much variation in temperature, you can put more plaster in. But to make sure it stays flexible, you need to have more whiting than plaster. So I have these little cups to measure out with. So I'm going to put in, there's not much left in this one actually, I think I'll pour it into this one. So let's see, what is it? We'll do 1 of plaster. You have to really have your wits about you that you don't mix up your tubs, because I've done that in the past. And then double of the whiting. Then I put in some of this. Put in a couple of spoons of that. I'll give that a bit of a mix. Feel a bit like Delia Smith here. There we are. Gosh, that dates me, doesn't it? Even Nigella would date me now, wouldn't it? Don't think I know who the celebrity chefs are these days. Right. So, I will need like 1/3 of a cup of this, but I won't use this cup. I have these. So, try that. You can't take it out, so just go easy on it, the liquid that is, because it looks like it's not going to mix, and then all of a sudden it mixes and you find you've got a cement that's too wet. So better to start off with a dry mix and add a bit. So I shall just add a plop more. There, that seems to have got it. So you just keep mixing. Now, why mix your own cement? You can buy it. So long time ago, I used to buy it. They come in big tins like paint tins. But I would always find that it would start to go off in the tin. And at the bottom of the tin, it would always be solid. You know, there'd be no doing with the bottom of the tin. And if you wanted to keep it in stock, because maybe your glass shop's not nearby and you don't want to have to keep going back just to buy it, well, then you had no chance of keeping it from going off. It just doesn't keep on the shelf, really. That's been my experience. Maybe it's changed now, maybe they've got better formulations. But that's why I started mixing my own. And you can see it's not difficult. I may not have enough here for my windows, so I'm going to add a bit more, which is a shame because that's just how I like it the way it is now. So if you have it a little bit runny still, then it squashes through the glass nicely and isn't quite such hard work to mix. So I will put not much, maybe half a cup of casting powder or plaster of Paris, and then a whole cup of whiting. Now I will need a bit more of this. I will just do that much. And this. I'm not going to put any more black in at the moment. Any more pigment, because I'll be able to tell when it's mixed whether I need to put any more of that in. But that black is so black, that pigment. It's so strong that actually a little goes a long way. If you make the mixture too wet, you just end up cleaning it off the glass forever. Now I'd say that's too wet now, so I'm going to put a little bit more of my dry ingredients in. So that's the whiting and that's the plaster. This spoon, or the spoons I use, I get from second-hand shops. You can buy them cheap at pound shops and things, but they bend when you're trying to mix up your cement. It's really annoying. Oh, they last because you clean them off if you remember. Right, that's getting more like it. So, and I'm happy with the colour. I don't think I need any more black in it. So the black is what will help bring down the colour of the lead. I keep calling it black, but you know I mean pigment. So you're scrubbing it into the lead with a stiff brush, and that scarifies or scrapes up the surface of the lead and allows the black pigment to do its job. So there we are. That's how I want it. Okay. Hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Like, comment and subscribe. I just wanted to show you the size of the windows that I have cemented with that batch I made up, so that you can see how far it goes. This is 6mm lead. If you use a wider lead, an 8mm lead, you'll need a bit more. And it was just the right amount.